Hello guys, welcome to my channel Brush It Up. In today's video, we are going to talk about the series called Bridgerton, and we are going to also sketch my favorite scenes from this particular series. So we are going to talk about the season 1 of this series, which came in 2020, and very soon I guess season 3 is also going to come up. So let me just give you a brief before we get into the depths of it. So it is basically story about this family, and one member of this family. Season 1 is about that, but you also get introduced to the family and each and every character. And also, since any good book or any good series, just not that it's not that only the leads will have very interesting character traits, but also the like not the co-actors, the characters which are the side characters also have a lot of depth to them. And nowadays you will find that there's this one book that comes out or one series that comes out, and then other characters of that series will have their individual books or individual series where you get to know and have a story on them, story which is completely based on them. So Bridgerton is something similar to that. So in season 1 we see the story of the eldest daughter of the family. So the family has 7 children, and out of which Daphne Bridgerton is the one of whom we see the story of. And the first, I think it's not really cliche, but in the first this thing season, they haven't taken that much risk. I feel it has stuck to a lot of stereotypical things that we already know. People love watching in a period drama. Since it's a period drama, it's set in 1800s, early 1800s, and I was just wanting to know, like, because I just wanted to be sure, and I didn't want to like give out wrong information. So it's set in 1800s, and I thought it was set in 1900s, but no, it is set in 1800s. And to be very exact, they have tried to like pinpoint the timeline. So in that case, if you want to pinpoint in which decade it would be, it or which year it would be in 1813 or in 1814, is when this season 1 would have been based on. If you really want to go dissect the series, and if you love doing that, I might do something like that in the future. But I think I don't want to give any spoilers, and I'll keep it as much spoiler free as possible. Based on stone. So Bridgerton is based in this, we are very familiar with the Victorian era and those poofy gowns, those princess like gowns. But Bridgerton is uh, is from a timeline in 1800s where the Regency era, they call it the Regency era. So the fashion is pretty much like, fitted gowns, fitted long gowns, and where fitted waistline gowns. So they are not like extra, but they have their own royalty and own beauty to it. Because, and I was actually a bit disappointed, because we are so used to, when you see a period drama, we are so used to of seeing corsets. You will see corsets in Bridgerton as well, but we are so used to of seeing those princess like poofy gowns. You won't find them in Bridgerton. But otherwise, other than the fashion, the storyline is quite epic, because for the first time we get to see a storyline where black people, um, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not supposed to use that terminology, but black people are a part of the royal lineage. So the queen herself is black, and so we get to see a world in where how it would have been if blacks were in a position of power, where they weren't getting, you know, exploited, and they weren't in a position where they had to give up a lot. In that case, how the world would have been. But they have also showed the struggles as to how they came into power. If you want to know more about it, there's this other series that has come out of Bridgerton, which is Queen Charlotte, where you get to know more about as to how the blacks came into power in the Bridgerton world. Okay, so that is an interesting way. So the male lead himself is black, and he's just too handsome and hot. The Duke of Hastings. It just, I mean, I feel to some extent, because I'm assuming that most of the audience are female who watch these series. Most of them have watched it because of Duke of Hastings. That is, his name is Bassett. Let me just get his name from my notes. His name is Simon Bassett, the Duke of Hastings. So he's the male lead, and you get to see Daphne's character. It is very. It starts with this thing that they have in Europe, where you get introduced to society, balls are thrown. It is that time where throwing a ball for a female to get introduced in the society is a thing. There's this period in which you get introduced to the society, of course for marriage, and that she's ready and she's looking for her partner, and that used to be a thing in 1800s, and it's based the storyline is geographically based in London. So you get to see the London of 1800. I don't know how much of historically correct it is, because of course creative people take creative leverage, but they must have symbolized it in some ways. I am totally considering it as fictional, and I'm not drawing any kind of this thing. I'm just, of course, whatever fiction exists, it is based on reality, because there is nothing more interesting than the real life. I feel there is nothing more beautiful than nature. So you take inspiration from reality. Even Game of Thrones, they say, George R.R. Martin, in an interview, he says you will find a lot of part of history that has happened in my stories, and he has just taken all those historical and created a fiction out of it. Now there is a lot of imagination that has gone into it, there is no doubt about it, but of course all that imagination and fiction is rooted in reality, in events that actually happened. So that is the reason why I'm giving facts, though it is fiction. So let's get into Daphne's character. So Daphne's character is almost a perfect character. She's beautiful, she's pretty, she ticks all the beauty standards, like the stereotypical beauty standards of female. Also the mentality of it, because her sisters are also, like, there's a line where her sister says, like thank you for being so perfect, because then I don't have to be that. And so that though Daphne is not the eldest out of the entire sibling, like all the seven siblings, she is the eldest sister, uh, like the eldest daughter. So she's the first person who is getting married in the family, and so the story is all about how she finds, and a situation is created where I don't want to give a lot of the plot away. I'll just give that much, which you can make out of the trailer. where there is this situation where she gets into a fake relationship, which is a very common plot line which you will find in almost every book and every series nowadays. I don't know why, but you know what? I'll still go and watch those movies and watch those series. Watch those movies, series, and read those books, because writing and stories are so much more about the plot. The plot is just two lines, right? They are pretending to be in a fake relationship. Now the book is not just doesn't just have two lines. It has this entire thick imagination story that goes into it. So it is more about that. It is more about how you show. It can be the most told narrated story out there, but when you show your version of it, it is about how you bring that together, right? So in though Bridgerton, when I tell you, might be very like, I have seen this, I have read about this, there's nothing new in this. It is about how they have gotten it together. The dynamics that the characters share on screen. It is so much about a family drama, like, because it's the first series, they also have to introduce you to the Bridgerton world, they have to introduce you to the Bridgerton family, and all of that also has to be done in along with Daphne's story happening at the same time. And let me tell you, you get invested in it so much, not just because the Duke of Hastings is so handsome. uh, It is also because the story is so rich, the characters are so rich, and I loved how there is a lot of symbolism that is going on, like in most of the movies. So they so if you see the first season and if you see the second season, the color palette is so different. Like, it is drastically different. In season 1 you will find colder tones that go more towards blues, and in season 2 you will find I'm talking like a true, like a person who works a lot with colors, but yes, I love to discuss colors. And season 2 is more towards warm tones, and Bridgerton essentially in its true spirit is, because it's a white society, and it even though they have tried to bring the element of different races together, I still feel it is heavily a story said by a white person, because it misses those nuances of other races, nuances it would have if the if if we could show how a person from a colored background also lives. That is what I find missing, especially from season 2. So when we will get into season 2, I would like to discuss more about it, but right now we are in season 1. They could have shown more about it. See, they showed all the small little life of how Daphne lives, but I feel they fail to show those small nuances in respect of Simon Bassett, Duke of Hastings. We could see how the blacks live, like what do they eat, or how do they talk, or what's their house setting like. How do they operate in an household, because there might be some reasons as to why that didn't happen, but I would like to see more about that community in the Bridgerton world. Not real, I'm not saying about the real black community, but or if you're showing a brown community, I would love to see more about that community. As much as you see about the white community in the series, I would like to see about other about the community of other races that you are trying to bring, because it has a heavy this thing that we are including other races. It in first, the male and the female leads are from different races. In the second season also, the male and the female leads are from different races. In third season, or not third season, but the third series that has come out of it also has the same thing. And I think it lacks it. So I think what makes a great movie or a series are the little things, um, the little things that go unnoticed, but these are the little things that will actually make the world more believable. So for example, something as stupid as finger sandwiches, showing a scene about finger sandwiches, showing a scene about cakes, showing a scene about lavenders, you know, like showing a scene as to how the Bridgerton family comes together in their like living room, and what is the dynamics that happen between the siblings, as 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 simple as that would make that particular world more believable, and make that particular ethnicity that you're catering to become a part of that series. That is what I feel. And if you love family drama, if you love historic drama, if you love symbolism, if you love fashion, you will truly enjoy it, because I tend to notice the smallest of things. Especially, it made me understand, because I'm Indian. In the second season, I know I am. This particular video is about the first season, but I want to go back to the season 2, because when I watched season 2, it what I noticed in season 2 made me realize this about both the seasons. So in season 2, since the female lead is an Indian, a brown person, the hairstyles that she wears most of the time, and all the settings that are outside, actually makes her look not that beautiful. It's like it's uptight, the hairstyle is quite uptight, it's rigid, it's formal, it's boring. Okay. And then when I was now, and I was like, why are they doing that to her? Is it because they don't know how to work with Indian faces, with brown faces, as to what will look good on brown faces? I was like, then I thought maybe it was that they didn't know how to work with brown faces, and that is why they chose a certain hairstyle which doesn't really make her look that beautiful. But then when I was watching, like when I was, for this video, when I went back and watched a couple of videos um, of Bridgerton, because of course can't really watch the entire series again, and I was like, yes, Daphne also looks a little bit ugly because of the hairstyle they are putting her into. But when then I went to Queen Charlotte, and I was like, yes, that hairstyle doesn't really bring out her best features, and it is an indication as to women weren't at their best um, during this era. Like, they weren't completely themselves during this era, and they weren't letting themselves loose. They had to be a lot uptight, they had to be a lot more formal, because the society wasn't really made for a woman. She was made to adjust to the society, and that is the reason why the hairstyles are so boring, uptight. And there are a couple of scenes where her hair is down, she is herself, and that's where she looks beautiful, like Daphne. And Daphne, the female lead, and I was like, why didn't they put her in this position earlier as well? And it's like, because they're trying to show you that the females are not really themselves during that era, especially when they are in places such as a formal ball or something like that. They are not really themselves. They are made to wear those corsets, they are made to wear those jewelries, though Daphne's jewelries jewelry that she wears every time is quite delicate, and she her whole essence is like she's very delicate petite woman, and she compliments Duke of Hastings like anything. Like they look so cute together, and they have amazing chemistry, and it's not just about them, right? There is a lot of things that are happening with other characters as well. For example, the brother who gets his own story, like the eldest brother, his name is. So I have made notes. Just shows how passionate I am about this. Of Anthony Bridgerton, who gets his own story in season 2, we get to see more about him in season 1, because they want to lay that work down for you, for the audience interest to peak about that particular character. And I'm really really excited about the the brother who's the painter. I'm really excited to see this season, and and the second eldest daughter's season is something I'm very interested to see, because those two are kind of rebels, and it will be very interesting as to how they navigate their love story. And unfortunately, Simon Bassett is no longer part of Bridgerton, so we don't see him in any other series other than season 1 of Bridgerton, and any other series of Bridgerton is what I'm trying to say. I don't know what happened there, but we would love to see how Duke of Hastings is doing. And yeah, also something to point out, Bridgerton has this excellent way of having instrumentals of some of the best songs that are released in last couple of years. So Harry's song, like Harry Styles song, which song I don't remember the name of that song, but his songs, violin's version of like instrumental, they have shown the instrumental version of his song, in which the instrument that is used is violin. Taylor Swift's song, they have done it in the same way, and it just adds so much to the storyline. You get all the feelings when you hear those music, and it feels like that music just belongs to that particular scenes and belongs to that particular era. um, it is beautiful. So the song selection is also amazing, and you know what I have observed, though they have shown as to how much a woman was struggling during that time, there are no damsel and distress in this particular series. Like every woman is fighting her own battle, making her own choices. Now that might not be the best choice for her, but still she's making her own choice and she's fighting her own battle. There is not a single damsel in distress, and even if she is in a position where her life is so much dependent on a male, but at the end of the day she has to find her own battle, because the male actually fails her in certain ways as to what is expected from him in that particular era of the society. So she has to find her own battle, find her own solutions. Every single woman in the Bridgerton world is doing that, and it checks a lot of boxes of feminism. So if you love strong female characters, please go and watch Bridgerton. And Queen Charlotte is also an excellent series. Like all the series that are coming out of Bridgerton, Shonda Rhimes is just excellent. She is an excellent storyteller, and she every single episode ends on like what do you call, like a cliffhanger. It keeps you hooked. to continue watching that series. So I have binge watched all those three series that came when they came out. And yeah, it got me so excited because there was a time there was so many series that used to happen. Those fantasies, old romance. You could see so many series like that, and nowadays you don't find them. There is so much different content that has come out, and that's good. Earlier there was just this particular genre that was being explored. Now various different genres are being explored, but I belong to that time where this was very trendy, and I also liked it a lot. So now that it's not happening, I regret that, but I also appreciate exploring different genres that are being explored nowadays. And yeah, and the color palette. So the violet that I'm wearing is very symbolic to Bridgerton world, because Bridgerton world is very has a lot of purple tones to it, violet tones to it, lavender tones to it. Call it what you want, but yes. And what more did I want to say about this? I think, yeah, Eloise Bridgerton story and Benedict Bridgerton. These two, I might go and find their book and read their book, because I'm really excited to see what happens with these characters, especially what happens with Benedict Bridgerton's character, because they haven't given that much away about his character. And yeah, I think I would really like to dissect series and movies, because I'm a big couch potato, if you want to call it that. But I derive a lot of pleasure out of stories, be it a book, be it a song, be it animated, be it normal movies. I derive a lot of pleasure out of it. So I do love reading fiction and any form of fiction. So I would really dissect as to how this movie would has come about, or how the series came together, how the narrator has left, or the director has left a little bit of like not cliffhangers, a little bit of symbolism here and there, especially with the hair. Yeah, I wanted to talk about Queen Charlotte's hair. Queen Charlotte's hair is such a extra thing that's going on, and it just confirmed my thing about the hairstyle, about the hair that they were trying to do, that they were intentionally trying to show very formal uptight hairstyle, where it almost makes the character a little bit like look makes the characters look a little bit boring and ugly, if I don't want to use that word in the wrong way. But yeah, they are, because they're trying to show that how much the female characters are not themselves in that world. um, so yeah, it's interesting to watch. You should definitely watch it, though this is not a rebel character, but she stands her own ground. And there's a lot of chemistry that happens between her and Hastings, Duke of Hastings, between Daphne Bridgerton and Duke of Hastings, which is interesting to watch. The family dynamics are interesting to watch. The bonding that the siblings share is interesting to watch. And since it is a first series, you are getting introduced to the world, you're getting to know the world, and so there is a lot happening outside of the main characters as well, and it's just beautiful. And they have stuck with their essence throughout. Like, you don't feel bored. They have a lot to show, and they have a lot of depth to everything that they do, because as you see the other series that have come out of this series as well, you understand that there is a lot of thought that has gone behind this, and it's just beautiful, and it's a very what do you call it, relaxing movie, not movie, series, and you should definitely give it a watch. I hope the paintings I was doing while we were discussing this came out great, and so yeah, I guess that's it. See you in the next video, and I hope that I'll come up with the next video very soon. Nowadays it's difficult for me to keep a schedule the way I kept earlier, but I want to go back on a schedule. So I right now don't know what works for me, but I will post one video during the week. I don't know which day would that be. Eventually I would stick to one day, uh, and on weekends there will be one video. So like 2 videos is what I'm trying to stick to, also because I want to work on shorts as well. So there is a lot of different forms of content that YouTube has nowadays, and it's good to be dabbling in all those different forms. So yeah, so 2 long form videos and a couple of shorts sprinkled over the week. One video during the work week, one video on the weekends, and shorts. So that's what the schedule is going to be like. And give me recommendations as to which kind of content would you like me to paint or sketch or just talk about, you know. So bye, thanks for watching.